Recording in
If you
progress.
want to continue, we'll see.
But
We will see.
even then, you got to make sure that it's like the adult size
Yeah.
final. Like you don't want to like rent to own something you're gonna have to replace in like a year. So
Well, they do all the repairs on it for
mm,
free. You can swap out with a different one.
mm.
So hopefully you're right. Yeah.
So we rented from one place, and they gave Haley this. You could see that it's an old busted
Way
ass
too big.
cello,
Oh.
right? Like it's been used. It's been used for generations. And the first year she broke it. She like set it up instead of setting it on its side, and it tipped over, and the neck snapped. And we're like, great. So I take it in. The guy's like, oh, and it didn't just break; it just like shattered. There was like cello all over the place. And she was like so distraught, and I took it into the guy. Now the next year, it got broken again, but like don't know when or how. Her orchestra teacher was tuning it, and she's like, "Well, this isn't right," and like the neck came off. Now it's the same cello, right?
They just fixed it. Is it?
Yeah. So we brought it
Uh-huh.
back in, and the guy just tore into me. He's like, blah 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 blah, and like we're renting this, right? That we pay for insurance for these things, and he's like, we can't cover any more major repairs on this. I'm like, all right,
You will.
yeah. We just gladly returned it and then went to somewhere else to rent the cello. And she hasn't had any problems this year, so luckily. It's hard, like getting the cello to school on the bus.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was that was the problem last year. I'm like, I'm gonna say it probably happened on the bus. You don't realize it. It gets caught in the seat. Somebody kicks it. You just don't know. So then after it was broken the second time, the guy just laid into me. Just like I don't I'm not here for a tongue
Fix
lashing.
it.
Like just
Fix
fix it. This is your
it.
job. I understand it got broken. We'll just let it go.
Hmm.
I drove her to school on orchestra days, so it would be in the
Oh,
trunk,
so
right?
does
Like
you? Yeah.
I'm like, fuck that, it's not getting broken again. But this year at high school, they have a cello there for her.
Yeah, that's what I thought they would do. Is just like have one at the school and one at home that you practice
Yes,
on.
and that so we have one at home for school or for practice, and then one at school. But at the grade school level, they didn't have the space or to just have cellos sitting around. So
Hmm.
it's yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, indeed. Do you even have to talk about football this week? I don't really want to,
Oh
but
my gosh. Yeah, no, it's rough going. We're at the point, right?
uh-huh.
Where we're for me at least, it's like, all right, so start talking about draft.
Yes.
Start seeing about draft position and tankathon and
Yep.
what I'm rooting for every week and trying to figure out who needs to win. I'll tell you, Oakland needs to win at least one more. Um,
That
and the
is going to be a
Jags would
tall
be
order.
great.
The Jags won this last week, right? So
Did they win?
they beat the Titans. Yeah,
Oh my God! I was watching.
it
I
was
was
like
just
10 to
seeing the
7 or
ticker.
10 to 6. It was not a very good game.
Oh, so all right. So it's just Oakland.
Yeah, just Oakland is all you have to worry about now.
Okay,
Or
that's fine
or you have to have the teams that Oakland has played continue to win.
to win, so that the strength of schedule looks better.
Yeah, because right now their starting schedule is 538 and yours is 543.
Yeah, we have the Ravens next week.
Yep.
Uh,
So that strength of schedule only goes up. But the Raiders get the Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs, right? So and they're all winning
Mhm.
teams this year.
We've got the Eagles left, the Ravens left.
But you have the Cowboys. You've already played the Cowboys twice. Yeah,
Yep, we played the Cow. Wait, I think so.
I think
Yes, we did. We did. Yeah. This will be the first time in history the Giants ever went 0-6 in the division. Because chances are, unless the Eagles like, we don't care about playing our guys, we don't stand the chance of beating the Eagles,
no.
probably.
And it's in Philadelphia too. So you got Baltimore at Atlanta, Indianapolis at Philadelphia. Uh,
Some of those is winnable. That's not good. I don't want any
I
winnable
don't know if
games.
any of them are winnable.
The
The
Colts aren't very good.
yeah, they're better than the Giants though.
They're
Uh,
not better than the Giants. They are.
now the Raiders have Atlanta, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and the Chargers.
They don't have tough games.
Jacksonville's very winnable. New Orleans is very
Jacksonville's winnable.
so New
New
Orleans.
Orleans is winnable.
Derek Carr's out for the season.
Yeah.
So
I
and
didn't even see the play, but some of my friends was like, "Did Derek Carr break his own collarbone?" I was like, "What?"
and Horseman's out for the season.
Yeah, is he out
So
for season? Did they say
yeah,
season?
they put him on IR, and he's having
Mm.
shoulder surgery.
Shoulder surgery? That's not the what he hurt.
Yeah, I know, but
That's not what.
it's his
That's
left
not what he
it's his
hurt.
left shoulder, and then he hit his head, and they're like, well, if we're gonna put you on IR, you might as well get that surgery now instead of in the off season. So one of those
They
things.
should have probably got that when the surgery when the shoulders were all jacked up.
Yeah. So yeah, Horseman's out. Atlanta's a mess.
Uh huh.
Derek
Uh
Carr's
huh.
out. The Chargers, they might be sitting people on that last week too, depending on where they're sitting at record wise.
There's not too much movement that can happen.
Exactly. Like once they get
You're yeah.
to a
Once
win
their
number,
position
they're
is
like
linked,
stuck there, right? So
yeah, there's not much there. There's not going to be much movement in any of the divisions. For the only thing is the NFC West. It'll probably be all of them will be fighting for that position.
yeah,
For the most part, everything else is set. What the entire NFC North minus the Bears. Sorry, um,
it don't matter.
two teams at the NFC East.
Two
So the only
teams
two
out the
teams
East.
that won't go is the Giants and the Cowboys,
Yeah.
and
But
then
well, no, Washington's sitting at 8-5, right? So they're in the most
uh-huh.
precarious situation of all the NFC teams.
Yes,
Them
but
them
that's
in Seattle, right? So if Seattle wins, they're fine. But the Rams and San Francisco are both, and the Cardinals are all there, one or two games behind the Commanders. So it just
mhm.
depends on if the Commanders
But
win, then it doesn't matter.
those teams will probably eat themselves, right?
Let's see. Washington has New Orleans, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Dallas to finish out.
Okay, those are not all. That Eagles Dallas combination is tough.
Yep. Seattle's got
Dallas maybe not so tough.
Seattle's got the toughest run. Green Bay, Minnesota, at Chicago, at Rams.
Mm,
And
that is
it's
tough.
not tough because of Chicago, but who knows?
Who knows? Chicago should play everyone tough.
Yeah, you'd think.
They should play everyone tough.
The Rams have at San Francisco, at Jets, Cardinals, Seattle. That's how they finished. So, and then San Francisco has Rams at Miami, Detroit at Arizona.
Phew. Whew. That's not good.
No, San Francisco's got the toughest stretch of that. That Detroit, yeah.
It's
Ram,
all it's a mix. Like that division's going to probably eat itself. Like and not just eat itself, but they've got some tough teams to play. You said that the Seattle has to
Seattle,
play
the Vikings and Green Bay. Green Bay this
yeah,
week.
and the Rams. The
And
Rams aren't easy
No.
right now.
Nope.
So those are three up for grabs. They'll probably be favored in. Oh, they won't be favored in the Vikings.
They'll be favored against Chicago.
They'll be favored
Unless
against Chicago.
gets
Even
hot or
at
something.
I don't know if they could be favored against Chicago.
They will.
At home in Chicago in winter.
It really depends on how these next two games play out for the Bears. They have Minnesota, and then they have Detroit.
I think that if you're an odds maker, like yes, the record is what the record is, but besides that San Francisco game, besides San Francisco, y'all have been in it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Y'all have been in the game in the fourth
For the
quarter.
most part.
And I bet with the spread, some of those games you probably actually won because you probably should
Well,
you know what I mean?
If
With the
if
point
spread
spread.
counted for anything other than gambling.
Except for gambling, but that's what I mean. Like that's why I don't think that you guys won't come in severe underdogs against Seattle at home. Y'all might even be favored. That's what I mean.
We'll see when that time comes. The Bears are currently 4-9. They need 3 wins to match last year's total. Four wins to exceed it, and they only have 4 games left.
They won't be exceeding.
They go to Minnesota this week. They play Monday Night Football in Minnesota.
Mm.
Now, the only thing going for the Bears is it's not a road game on a Sunday.
Yes.
So, there's that. I don't even want to talk about the Bears. They look terrible. They got run the fuck over by the 49ers. And I don't know if you watched any of the game, but
Yeah.
all I did was scream at the TV because Kittle was I. The 49ers had 9 pass plays over 20 yards. 9. 9.
I don't-
No, I'm sorry, not just pass plays, just 9 plays that went over 20 yards.
you can't
9.
you can't say nine like that. It
Oh,
sounded very German.
no,
Nine!
not 9. 9. 9 times. 9 times the 49ers had a play go for over 20 yards. I'm going to say 7 of those were to George Kittle standing in there with no one around him. 20 yards. Like, they played. I don't know what kind of defense it was. Crap. This crappy zone defense where George Kittle just ran free the entire game. Nobody covered the man ever. George Kittle had over 100 yards at halftime.
Mhm.
Brock Purdy had a perfect passer rating at halftime and 3 touchdowns.
With
Like,
220 yards.
and the Bears had -2 yards, I think, like combined total, because
It was four at the half. I think it was like
it
that.
was insane. It was insane-o. I don't ever want to. And here's the worst part: it was the only game on, because it was the afternoon slate, right? So,
The game of the week, I think.
I couldn't
Wasn't it?
switch channels. I couldn't. No, it wasn't the game of the week because the Rams and the Bills were the game of the week, as it deserved to be. So the Bears had Daryl Johnston. I feel bad for that guy, but whatever, right? Like, but I couldn't switch without doing an illegal stream. So that's like, I guess I'll watch the Bears. And here's what stinks: I went grocery shopping in the morning. I should have saved it for halftime.
It's usually what you do. You usually say, "I'm going to go."
But they usually play at noon, right? But this time they're playing at 3:25. Even the late game, the late slate, 3:25. So it went till after 6, and just like, God bless it. God bless it. It was terrible. I don't ever want.
There's there's really nothing to talk about that game. There's really not much to talk about the Giants game. It was the
only
you something?
I only want to say something about the Giants is they lost on a blocked field goal, and this season they lost on a blocked field goal. The Bears lost on a blocked field goal, and the Chiefs won on a blocked field goal. I don't know if I've ever seen that many. I don't know if I've ever seen one walk-off blocked field goal in a season. Like, I know it's happened, but I can't remember off the top
Giants
of my head.
had one either last year or this year.
But well, no, it wasn't a walk-off though, because they blocked it. And remember, they got the ball, and they didn't go for 2 because if it was a pick 6, so they just sat on the ball, right? They went for 2 and just sat on it. So it wasn't a walk-off, but these are like legitimate, like last second
that you're
play
expecting.
Of the game, walk-off block field goals. Come on.
Do you think the league is going to do something about that?
What can they do?
Do you think they've changed the rules before
they've already made a lot
to prevent jumping over
you
people,
can't get over the center,
touching, no leaping. Like, they've changed the rules in the past to almost make this difficult. So do you think they could change it again? Basically what I'm saying is, do you think the league likes that or hates it?
I think they love it.
I like it.
I think it's great when it happens, just not to my team. All I know is Brian Breesy for the Saints is not like a slim dude, but he's also not like what's his face that used to play for the Patriots. Who's that big nose guy?
Wilfork?
Yeah, it was like Vince Wilfork, right? But he had his hands in the air and he box jumped over the center with his hands still in the air. When he came down, he blocked the kick. I've never seen that before. Like, I've seen him jump over the guys, but like, he didn't touch anybody. He just jumped straight over the dude. That's tough. That was tough.
So didn't want to watch the game anymore. The score was 14-3, and Drew Lock looked absolutely horrible. And I said, you know what? I don't really want to watch this game. So I cut it off. But I can't be that far away from it, right?
Yes.
So I cut it off, but I'm looking at it. Instead of watching the game, which I can because I have it,
Yep.
I'm sitting there looking at it on my phone as it keeps going forward, right?
Yep.
So I'm getting everything super late, right?
Yes.
Oh, 23 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Giants is about to kick a field goal. We're gonna tie this up.
And then all of a sudden,
I start getting these text messages from people going, "Oh," I'm like what happened? Oh
And the killer
no.
was it was a chip shot field goal too. It
20 something
it
yards.
was
Yes,
yeah like 28,
they
30
should have
yards.
scored a touchdown, but Drew Lock stinks.
Agreed. Agreed. And I thought they were going to go for the touchdown too because they were trying to, and then they just ran out of time. They didn't have any timeouts.
Yeah,
Uh, Malik Neighbors is legit good,
he's good.
and
Yeah.
I think that's all. That's your only takeaway from the Giants right now is Malik Neighbors is legit good.
I still like Tyrone Tracy. Like and Tyler Newbin.
Sure.
I was talking to myself, like, listen, the only way the Giants are gonna get good is they have to stack good drafts on top of another.
Yes.
One good draft on top of another good draft
Yes.
on top of another good
Yes.
draft. They had a good draft last year.
Yes.
They're going to have a high pick this year.
Yes.
You stack 2 to 3 good drafts, you should have a decent team.
You'd think yes.
As long as you make the right pick at the right position, which for us is going to be quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. You make the right pick at quarterback, and now you got a good chance.
Now I'm going to ask you. Well, we got all sorts of time to talk about what the Giants will do to draft. But yes, I agree. And if your coach is the right coach, it should be fine.
Wait, I'm sorry, my family is yelling, so I can't really hear.
Well, that's what families do.
Yeah.
But if you get the draft picks and then you
I'm sorry, I'm still listening. Yeah, but still, yeah, I think the coaching is going to be fine. I think I'm seeing that they're saying that they're probably going to let Dayball and Shane stay a year. I I think they kind of have to let him stay a year that because, like I said, you got to stack the good draft picks, and he had one. If he has another one, then you're like, okay, now I'm putting the pieces together.
mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. I saw somebody said Cam Ward to the Giants is it almost a done deal already? I'm like, done deal? That's a little bit.
There's no done deals.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know if Shador wants to play for the Giants. I don't know if Dion. I don't know. I really don't know. But it looks like Oakland, if they get the pick higher than us, they're picking Shador Sanders. That's what it's looking like.
We'll see. I think it's still a ways away.
I don't know. I think like the top picks coming out of college, and Cam is the only Heisman, only quarterback up for the Heisman. I don't think Shador is up for the Heisman. I don't think Travis Hunter is the running back from Boise State, the quarterback for Miami, Cam Ward. So I don't know, but that's the position they're gonna have to address. It's got to be addressed with the number 1 or number 2 pick. They should be able to get a good pick, and then you've got early picks later on in the second round, which you can, if you feel confident, you can move from 33 to this first round if you need to, back in if you see somebody that you like. But so, like I said, all they can do is stack draft picks. That's really all they can do for right now. I think they've done decent in free agency. So they've got Burns there that's going to be there. They've have a defensive line with Lawrence that's solid. They have to figure something out with Deontay Banks. He looked really good first year. This year, he's getting beat left and right. He is definitely a target out there. The rest of the DBs not that bad. They're young. We have a very young defensive back core, so they're going to get better with some more time. Defense I like. Offense is where the questions lie. That is where the questions lie.
Man, when you're 2-11, there's lots of things that can be fixed, right? On both
Correct.
on both sides of the ball, right? So, just figure it out.
But
like, I don't
but
know.
your good doesn't get to show when your bad is in certain spots.
That's for sure.
You know what I mean? So you can't see the wide receiver core may look like a negative because your quarterback just doesn't look
well,
good
yeah.
out there.
I mean,
And your quarterback can look bad if your offensive line isn't there,
yeah.
right? There's certain positions that no matter how good you are, because other people aren't playing their position well, you really don't know. So are those some are is wide receiver questions? Probably so. I like Wandale Robinson and I like Neighbors as the 1 and 2 for the future. Slayton probably should have been traded during. I thought Slayton and the defensive back that was oh gosh, I can't think of his name. But not the defensive back, the defensive end that was playing when Thibodeau was out.
Mm.
I thought, Ojolari. I thought those were the prime times to get rid of him. I thought a team like uh, not Houston might have been a good pick. A team like Houston or Kansas City would have been great for Slayton.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought any team could have used a defensive end that rushes the pack quarterback like Ojolari.
Sure.
I think they should have traded them
Yep.
and got picks for him, whatever you got for him. Because at this point in time, they would have been it would have been nice to have some of those picks.
Yep.
Not saying, but at this point, I don't know. Slayton. I don't know what we have to get more picks for this draft. I do not want to see people like Dexter Lawrence leave, which is our biggest weapon that we have on either side of the ball. To be perfectly honest
Mm-hmm.
with you, I don't want to see him leave. So I don't want them to trade him. So, but that's where I think we are. I think we will see, and this is a little bit unfair, and this is Mike Kafka, who lost his play calling
Mm-hmm.
responsibility, was never truly the OC. I don't think he's going to be fired at the end of this year.
You think?
Yeah, I think he's the head
But
that is
isn't he
going
like
to roll.
Dayball's boy?
Kinda,
Yeah.
but not really.
Okay.
like I think he is going to be the head that we lose. I don't know if we're gonna lose Shane Bowen. He's only been there for 1 year on the defensive side of the ball, but the defense hasn't been the problem,
Mm-hmm.
but it has taken a step back than what it was when we had Wink Martindale the year before. So I don't know if that's going to be the cause of him losing the job, but I do think Mike Kafka is going to wind up losing his job because they're going to have to do something. If Dayball stays, he can't bring the same staff in, and he's got to sell something.
Yeah.
So
And
it could be
we'll
that.
still see on that. I'm still. It's a coin toss whether Shane is there or not at the end of the season. In my opinion,
I think so. I understand there's some moves that he did, but
we'll
I
we'll,
still
we'll see.
think that yeah, he should stay. He should get the one get the he should be the one to make the decision on quarterback. That's what I think.
Maybe. Looking at the salary cap for the Giants next year, they got 58 in space. The killer is the 22 million for Daniel Jones sitting there in dead cap.
Yeah.
And then you got three guys: Andrew Thomas, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, all over
Yes.
over
The
20.
some big names on
So
there.
you really need to uh, you need young, cheap talent, and the best way to do that is the draft, right? So
Yeah, I think like I said, I think they've done it on the defensive side. I think they've done it on the offensive side. You got
yeah,
your rookie running back, you've got your rookie tight end, you got your
yeah,
starter. These are the
you got some
starters.
guys, yeah, for sure,
Yeah, and you got your rookie wide receiver,
yeah,
right? So and your center's pretty young. Your right tackle has got to go, but those right tackles have been cheap. They got cheap free agent talent
yeah,
with the right tackle. So it's a matter of where the Giants scout team has got to earn their money because they know what they're working with, and they're going to have to get guys and talent from the draft.
yep,
Excuse me, unless we can get one of those players from the the Steelers. I prefer Fields.
mm-hmm, sure.
Um, I take Russell Wilson, but if I take Russell Wilson,
You have to pay
I'm
for it.
also I not only do I have to pay for it, but I gotta get a draft pick because I don't I would I'm not getting him long term.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a 2 year deal with Russ, and I'm bringing in I'm still drafting a quarterback at the number 1 pick
Yeah,
or number 2 pick.
and that was gonna be my
It
question. What if there
Mhm.
isn't a quarterback that the Giants love in the draft? Right? Like
uh,
it's possible, right? Like
yeah,
I mean, Cam Ward seems like a nice solid pick for quarterback. But let's say there isn't somebody like that just doesn't tick their boxes. but somebody like Justin Fields on a cheap deal, like a cheap 3-year deal, does, and then he can use that pick for something else
Oh yeah,
or trade
yeah.
down for it.
If I can get Justin Fields, I try to get Justin
Yeah,
Fields. Like that, I think teams gave up on him too soon. I
for sure.
think he can be utilized in the system, in our system.
Hmm.
We already like to run the ball. We was running the ball with Daniel Jones. I don't think it's that difficult for us to transition to a play style that would benefit Fields.
Yeah,
So, like I said, our quarterback not of the future, but of next year is on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster, whether that's Wilson or Fields. If it's Wilson, the number 2 pick or number 1 pick is still picking a quarterback. If it's Fields, gives you options.
it does give you
If you
options.
can, if you can find a Joe Alt that's sitting there, you take it.
Yeah,
If you can find a surefire person to shore up that right side with Andrew Thomas on the left,
yeah,
you do it.
yeah.
Right? So,
That's for sure. And I don't know what the draft looks like yet.
mhm.
I'm not a scout, um, but there's that possibility, right? Like only because I like it from like a video game perspective. It feels like you're doing like you sign Justin Fields, you trade the 2 back down to the 6 or something like that. You stockpile some picks, right? Because you need those picks in the future. That's what I do with the Jaguars. If I'm the Jags, I trade out as many times as I can because you just need
Yeah.
picks. Oh
and,
boy.
and plus, don't think that the fact that there is a guy with the last name Manning coming out the following year,
Mm-hmm.
don't think that the Giants are thinking about 2025 or 26.
Yep.
Like, so if you can get a Fields for 1 or 2 years, get the offensive lineman instead of getting it, and then if you're in the same position, do what you need to do and try to get a Manning and be like, like I said, don't let the fact that there is a guy with the last name Manning coming out of the probably not definitely not this year, but probably next year.
Yep. And 9 times out of 10, if you're let's say you trade that number 1 or number 2 to somebody that needs a quarterback, they're going to be bad again.
It's possible.
It 9 times out of 10 is kind of how it works. Except for the
Hmm.
last 2 years, you've had Jaden Daniels and
and
CJ
Stroud.
Stroud, right? Which are aberrations, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you never know.
That's why I'm like, it could.
Yeah,
It could
yeah.
happen.
I mean, it should happen, right? Normally, it does happen, but
Hmm.
not the last couple of years. And even Bo Nix, man, like, and I'll be real. Caleb isn't playing bad either. The Bears are just a magnanimous failure in so many different ways.
It's the coaching.
It is the coaching, and
It's
now
the coaching.
and now you got a guy trying to make chicken salad, out of chicken shit, and it's like this isn't his offensive scheme. This isn't his team. He hasn't any chance to
Nothing.
be a plan, and now he's got like he's gonna be this weird savior because of vibes. Like I get it. Like I get why they got blown out because the 49ers are still a good team, and the Bears
Are
cannot
still working on it.
cover the middle of the field to save their lives. That's all the 49ers do is live in the middle of the field. Right? So I don't know what it is. I think that would have happened if Eberflus was there. It might not have been whatever it was to like 6 or whatever. I don't even know what the score was. It had to be like 72-3. If
No, y'all scored a touchdown because I was thinking, I was like,
yeah,
okay,
Caleb
so
threw 2
usually,
touchdowns. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, usually we come in here and the first person has is the team who scored the most. We had 11. I think y'all had
yeah,
14.
yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. So we had
So
a couple touchdowns, but like there was a point in the first quarter where I'm like, I think the Bears are gonna lose by 50.
you tipped me. That was the text you sent me.
I'm like, there's no, they have no solution to any of this, and they can't move the
Mhm.
ball. And the killer is, you get a 3 and out. The 49ers have an 8-minute drive after that, right? Like you didn't have the ball. Yeah, you didn't. You had a 3 and out. Lots of teams have 3 and outs, but the other team doesn't hold the ball for the next quarter after that, right? And they did. Oh God, it was really rough. Man, it was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't ask the guy, and I'm not gonna go with the title actor. You can't ask the passing game coordinator
Yes.
to lead the team in every aspect that you're asking him to
He
be.
has the
The man went from being passing coordinator to offensive coordinator to head coach in 3 weeks. And the responsibility of each one of those jobs is drastically
it
different.
feels like exponentially more almost.
Every single time,
Yes.
right? Like I honestly see making the transition from passing game coordinator to OC.
Yes.
You get to work with the offensive coordinator as the passing game coordinator. He did not work with the defense 3 weeks ago,
Yes.
which as head coach, he's in charge of everybody.
And the previous defensive caller was the head coach that you fired. And so
Yes.
and your best aspect, even though it was middling it most of the time, was your defense. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it wasn't the defense that was losing you games. It was just the head coaching. So the argument can be
Yes.
made that Eberflus maybe is a good defensive coordinator, terrible head coach, or he could be a great
Mhm.
head coach if he wasn't have to defense be a defensive coordinator. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I don't know about that. He couldn't call timeouts properly. That's probably not
listen.
the case.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to a guy who was
Who doesn't deserve?
who didn't deserve the job to begin with. That's the part that kills me. But the Bears are an absolute dumpster fire, and you'd
Throwing
think
dumpster fire around, and my team's got 2 wins.
I
The bags are
I
the
know.
bags are
Oh,
over the faces, and they
the
someone
plane.
paid with a banner a flyer. So you're throwing dumpster fire
I
around.
know. I know. Hey,
Seriously.
it's my dumpster fire. All right. The Bears are my dumpster fire. They're terrible. You can have your dumpster fire, and it's totally different than my dumpster fire.
Oh, it is.
It's,
The house is very large.
it's not a dumpster
The
fire.
Hudson
piston
River's on
contest.
fire.
Yeah.
It's not even just it's the whole river's on fire
Yeah,
over here.
it is so bad, and they've lost 7 in a row. 7, and then they go Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers, and
Oh my
I
God.
don't know how they don't lose 11 in a row. Like
That's rough.
now,
Well, don't worry, we'll be there. We're at 8. We're at 8,
but
and we're going higher every week.
oh, the, every week that passes, they creep closer and closer to the number 1 pick, and further away from the number 3 pick, or the number 3 spot in their damn conference, because the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers are like a
They look
combined
good.
like 70-3. Like,
I will say sometimes the Vikings don't look as good as they looked when they started.
they still win though.
They still win. And the Packers impress me every time I watch them. I'm sorry, because
No.
I know I picked the Packers over the Lions. I didn't truly believe that, but they led me to believe that it was very possible.
Oh,
They could have won that game.
if you believe in the magic and luck that is the Green Bay Packers, then anything is possible, my friend. Matt LaFleur is an outstanding coach, and that's all you need to know. He and I think I've said it like for 5 consecutive weeks. The 3 coaches that are opposite the Bears in this division are all world class. Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, and Motor City Dan Campbell are like all 3 are up for head coach of the year. All of them. All 3 of them are going to 3 of them are going to finish in the top 5 in head coaching. And Dan
All
Campbell's
going to finish
probably
behind Tomlin. You think he wins over Tomlin?
maybe
Over Mike Tomlin?
I don't know, man. Like
He should though. You're talking about a team that's got what 4 or 5 losses versus a team that's got 1 loss. So
one
yeah,
loss
I get.
and that whole defense is hurt. That their whole defense
And the division that they play in is tough.
The-
If they finish with 2 losses, it's very
if
difficult
they finish
not
with 2
to give.
losses, that's double what they have now.
That's what I mean. I'm just giving them out of the next 4 games a loss.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They may
maybe.
not get one. They may not get one. I'm just giving them one just so I can't say. It's hard to say someone's going to be 4-0. They could. They very well could. But let's say he finishes 16-1, 15-2. Right? It's very difficult
Now,
not to give that.
Here's what
give them
sucks. If they finish 15-2, that loss is probably to the Eagles. And if the Eagles finish 15-2, that means the Eagles get a home field advantage in the NFC.
I don't think if I'm Detroit Lions, I don't care.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but I mean, like how
Yes,
insanely
that's
stupid.
how thin
Yeah, like
yes, the more.
there's no margin for error. Like I think they have to go out and play to win every game. Like they won't rest in weeks 18 because, and then you also had the Vikings who only had 2 losses.
I don't know if the Eagles get past the Pittsburgh Steelers this week.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too, but I'm just
Hmm.
saying there's 3 teams in the NFC right now that could all realistically be the number 1 seed. There's only
Hmm.
one, maybe 2 teams in the AFC that you can say that about.
There's definitely at least two.
Well, the Bills, but they lost that game, which puts them back now. But
Hmm.
like, I don't know, man. I just like I watch the Bears, and I see the rest of their just their division.
How far back behind you are?
Yeah, they're not even close. And the thing that always bugged me is when Ryan Poles was hired, he said our job isn't just to make the playoffs. Our job is to take the NFC and never give the NFC North and never give it back. And so people are like,
Hmm.
take the NFC. Every time the Bears lost between that moment and now, it's like, take the North and never give it back. It's like, he didn't say our job is to immediately take the North. We have he knew going in,
He had to
we
march.
have a shitty team and we got to purge and like rebuild. Like it was like a 4 or 5 year plan. But people are like, oh, take the North, Kings of the North. Like that every time the Bears would lose, right? So, but now we're at this situation because they because the franchise chose to stick with Eberflus, they are so far behind now. Now
Which we didn't see.
they could maybe make the super right hire this offseason, and all of a sudden it flips, right? It totally flips. They might finish 4-13, and they can go to, well, not 13-4, but you know what I'm saying.
I
It could totally flip.
I will say that I still just think the Vikings is a house of cards just waiting to
Oh,
collapse.
I agree.
I so if they can make the shift and be better than the Vikings next year,
Hmm.
giving the Packers another offseason to get some more, it'd be kind of difficult. And I don't see those two teams seems like their staying power is a little bit longer than the Vikings. But the Vikings still they have Addison, they have Jefferson, they have a solid defense. Maybe, and like I said, a coach. I don't trust Darnold, but who knows?
I mean, you got to trust them at least
I know.
to what they are, which is what 11-2.
Is there,
Yes,
they only got two
they only
losses?
got 2 losses, and one
Jesus.
was to the
Okay.
Lions.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah,
Man, that would be tough. That's rough.
it is.
At least I don't have to look up that far to see people. Like
Yeah,
the Cowboys is right there. They stink too.
but I mean,
So,
like the NFL's fickle and weird, right? So like, who
yeah.
knows what could happen next year?
Next year it could be completely different.
And I have to say this because the Vikings fans make me chuckle, um, because I'll see them online. They're like, "We're doing all this, and we didn't even have our stud quarterback out there." Like you hadn't even seen that dude throw past one in the NFL. To elevate him to stud quarterback. Oh boy, you should be very thankful that Sam Darnold has been competent to very good. Man, he
Yeah.
threw 5 touchdowns this last week, so he's been
Yeah.
competent to very good this season. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, wait. So on one of those touchdowns, you and I could have thrown it.
I don't care.
I don't know what that DB was doing on that route to Jefferson. Did you see that play?
Yeah,
He he's first of all, Jefferson's got him beat by probably 15 yards.
yeah,
15 yards pretty much to start off.
yeah.
The guy then runs backwards to try to get there to catch up. The pass should have been on him way earlier than that. Then he loses not only Jefferson, but the ball and makes the complete wrong turn,
Falls on his ass.
slips and falls.
Yep.
And this whole time, I don't know what Darnold's doing back there, but Jefferson has been clearly open for 30 seconds.
He's had his hand. He had his hand up in the air for
30
like
seconds.
10, 12 seconds.
That's what I mean. I,
Yeah.
I don't know what Darnold's doing or what's going on back there, but at no point in that route was Jefferson covered. At no point
Now,
in the
what would have stopped me from throwing that pass is I don't think I could throw a football that far. Like,
well, listen, if you'd have thrown it earlier, he would have been closer because
that's
he
true.
was
If
still
I would have thrown it immediately, snap. Oh, he's open. Throw it. Yeah, if I had that ability to see the play and throw it like that, yeah, I could have got it. But I'm not throwing a ball 40 yards downfield.
He could have came back. The guy was
That's
on his
true.
butt. He could have come back.
Jefferson comes
caught
back, gets the ball, turns around, and then
runs.
still beats the guy to the end zone. Yeah, I don't care how they happen, right? When you throw 5 touchdowns in a game, yeah, you're gonna get one that's lucky or like one guy's wide open. Yeah, it happens, right? Which is such a stark contrast when I watch the Bears. Everything looks difficult. Everything looks harder than it needs to be. I watch other teams like, why is a man standing wide open 10 yards down the field? Why is the guy just sitting in a soft zone? The Bears don't ever do this. The Bears don't route guys open. They've never done it. I don't know what it is. And you see other schemes, you got 4 guys, and they're all like hands in the air, standing there wide open. And the Bears struggle to get guys open. And that's scheme. That's 100% scheme. That's coaching, right? All right. Oh, God, let's go down the list. Packers-Lions was a great game on Thursday night.
Great game.
Absolute great game.
Balls are still
Motor City Dan Campbell. Yep. Man, oh, man. He's got truck nuts, man. That dude. They're fused together in solid metal.
Oh, not fused together.
But, yeah. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, those are 2 of the best teams in football. And one came away 9-4, 3 games behind the other team, 12-1.
Yeah,
it's insane. And Dan Campbell, that defense is running on next man up in a lot of spots, and they're still good.
Yeah, they're good. And the Laporta hadn't been seen pretty much all year for a little bit, and he got busy.
Yep.
He got busy on Thursday.
Yep, he got some touches. I mean that whole offense. This is why I want the Bears, if they don't hire Ben Johnson as their head coach, get an offensive coordinator that can do things like they do, where it's like he routes guys open all over the field, whether they're a tight end, a wide receiver 1, 2, or 3, a halfback, or an offensive tackle reporting as eligible, right? They're all open. They're all open all the time. And then on the other side, Matt LaFleur is the same thing. They don't have a wide receiver 1, but they're all wide open constantly.
You think Ben Johnson would leave and go in the division?
Yes. I think the situation is right, and there's been all these kind of like rumblings that because agents talk and stuff like that, and here's what I found out. Like ownership, like team presidents can talk to agents during the season about stuff like that. Like general manager can't, but
the owner,
but Kevin Warren can be like, is Ben Johnson interested in whatever, right? Like, but it's tampering if team operations talks to him. I don't know.
Okay.
So there's been rumbling. There's also rumblings that last year, a large section of the Bears wanted to hire Jim Harbaugh, but a certain somebody in upper management said no. So that's either team president Kevin Warren, which I don't think so, or
the owner,
or George McKenzie. I'm just a fan.
Like, I'm going to go and say, like, Ben Johnson will have options if he wants to leave.
Yes.
You think he would want to go up against the same team that he helped build, that he knows is a juggernaut?
Yeah.
When I could go to Oakland, I could probably go to the Jets.
Oh, well, so
Oakland is not a good place. I'm just thinking about places that I think will have the Jags.
Of the 4 cursed franchises, the Jags, the Jets, the Raiders, and the Bears, which one is the more attractive one?
The Jets.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch that situation with a
The
10-foot pole.
only the only reason why I wouldn't touch is if Aaron Rodgers is in that
I don't
situation.
think it matters.
The Jet
They're just
the Jets will have a top 5 pick this year.
for sure. The Bears will have a top 7 pick, and
But I'm just trying to
they
say,
already have their
I
quarterback.
they do have their quarterback. I have a solid defense in with the Jets. So if I get the right defensive coordinator, I
I
can.
think you say that
We
about the Bears too.
I have I have I will say a better wide receiving core than the Bears.
I don't think
A better running back than
Devontae
the
Adams isn't back next year for the Jets. So,
he got no choice. They got him for 3 years.
well, there's an out after this year, and I think he's gone.
If he's gone, then it's close. But no, it's then y'all
I'll
would
take
have
DJ
the.
Moore and Robert Dune say I love Garrett Wilson, so I wish he was on the Bears. It don't matter.
I'm just yeah.
All I know is the Lions are freaking good. The Packers are freaking good. It drives me insane.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to go if I was the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. I don't know if I want to go in division and play against a team that I already know that they are really, really
Oh, for
good.
sure.
And this is my first head coaching job, and I know I got to go up against them twice a year in a division where I have to go up. I will take going into the AFC South, and I will be with the
I'm gonna tell
Jags
you what.
where I get to play.
If you're a head coach and you're going to shy away from difficult competition, I don't want you as my head coach.
That's fine. But this job is a job. You rarely get a second opportunity to be a head coach.
Yeah.
Some do,
Hmm?
but you have to make sure that the place that you
Oh.
pick is gonna be decent. You got 2 years at best. Well, three at best.
I think
2
3 at least
years
usually. Yeah.
if coaches are getting fired like that.
I know. Well, I mean, it depends on the situation. And,
It does.
And like, who knows if Ben Johnson is a good head coach? He might be a great
True.
offensive coordinator. There's lots of great offensive coordinators that never make it as head coaches, right?
That's why I want to go to a situation where I at least kind of look good.
Yeah.
Like, my chances, if you're telling me I can go to Jacksonville where I have to play the Tennessee Titans, the Colts, and of course the Texans in my division, I pick that
I'm gonna tell you
over
what, like
the Lions.
I
the
don't want
Vikings.
you if you're just like I don't have two testicles fused together and made of steel. I'm gonna go to the Jags. That's fine.
See, Dan Campbell only went to the Lions because he had a rapport with the Lions.
We wanted to go bite kneecaps, man. And remember, people laughed at him. I think
I
everybody
did.
laughed at
I
him.
think I did. Yeah, he was weird.
Like even as much as like the last couple of years, we're like the guy's crazy, and now
He's crazy.
now his crazy is still crazy, but
He's still crazy.
No
one denies
he has
it.
the team that it doesn't matter how crazy he is. It just wins. God damn it! Speaking of not just winning, let's move down the list here. The Jags and Titans played. Somebody had to win. It was 10-6 Jags. Good for them. The Jets and the Dolphins. The Jets are officially eliminated from the
Oh
postseason.
my God! I thought I had the Jets, and they should have won that game. Stupid
not.
Jets! The Jets are horrible.
They are horrible. They are very bad. And the Dolphins are okay-ish.
Yeah.
They're okay adjacent. They're 6-7.
I saw something, and this is not funny. It's not fair. Up until Sunday, Tyreek Hill has had in the year, he's had more kids than touchdowns. In the in 2024, he had 5 kids in the year 2024 alone, and 4 touchdowns.
No way. He had 5 kids. Come on. Come on, dude.
I said, this is not funny. This is not fair.
It's not funny. And the dude, like, if you're doing that, there's something just not clicking. Like, the gears are, like, up there. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Vikings embarrassed Kirk Cousins' return home to Minnesota. 42-21.
And the part that's crazy, first of all, that game it got blown away late because they were in it for a while.
In the fourth, right?
Yeah, and then Kurt started throwing interceptions like Kurt does, but The thing that was crazy to me was Raheem Morris is the coach, right?
Yes.
He said I left him out there because he I didn't kind of almost like he didn't want to embarrass him in front of his former team.
Mm.
Because everyone was like, why did you throw Penix in? The game was out of the game was out of hand. At least the last drive, two drives. He was like, basically, I wanted him to play the full game because he was up against his whole team. Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. As the head coach, I don't care about that. We got a rookie back there that people want to see. I want to know what I have in him. Any chance that I get to bring him in, I need to bring him in. Kirk Cousins, former going up against his former team means nothing to me, in my opinion.
I think there's more to it than that. I think that's a nice thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to bring in Penix now because it doesn't. I don't think that gives you the best chance to win, right?
Oh no,
Like so,
it
and they're
doesn't.
still in the playoff hunt, right? Now, if they bring in Penix, let's say they bring in Penix in garbage time and he throws a touchdown, then what happens?
Oh, but it's still garbage
But
time.
then, but then,
But I
but then what happens with the fan base and like the
oh
rumbling and stuff like you still get that.
then you're right. You may get the, but you're getting it anyway. That's why he had to answer the
I know,
question.
but
He didn't play him.
let's
He's still getting it.
but but if you're getting it without seeing him on the field, you can just be like, we know what we got in Kirk, and we're in this, and he's a tested veteran, and we're going for the playoffs. If you throw Penix out there and he does a thing right, you're like, what are we doing? Like I know what this is like. I've lived this scenario several times in Chicago.
Of course, with the backup quarterback
the
coming
moment
in and
backup
saying,
quarterback comes in and like
"Paget, why are we not
yes,
playing Paget
yes,
instead of?"
Cade McCown, or no, Josh McCown, and Dill Pickles. What's his name? Clausen, Jimmy Clausen. Like it doesn't matter. Like a guy comes in like, yep, Jay Cutler's good, but Jimmy Clausen came in and played a good second half. Come on, no, it's Jimmy Clausen. It's Jay Cutler. Like there's a difference here. Like you don't do that.
Oh, I understand, but I think the best way to get a player, especially a young guy, is to let him see real live
For
action.
sure, yeah.
And you're not gonna let him see real live action unless one. But I guess I see what you're saying. If you're still in the playoff hunt, you can't,
Nope.
right? But once you're out of the playoff hunt, throw him in all
Here's
kind
the
of
thing though. They're gonna be the play unless they lose out. Even with like a couple, they're still in the playoff hunt because it's the NFC South.
because mhm.
Right. All right. Panthers, Eagles. Panthers should have won that game.
Yes,
Panthers played really well.
they have been playing
Yes.
really well.
They're just not a.
They have
They've
been.
been playing really well. Their shortcoming is they just don't have a whole lot of talent. So they're playing a bit above their heads right now,
Above, yeah.
and they're playing good teams. And the Eagles hit a bit of a buzzsaw, and they're like, what's going on here? The Panthers shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I was gonna say they slowed down their run game, but Saquon had 124 yards.
On
It's
like
not
10
really slow
carries.
at all.
Yeah.
It's not very slow at all. But they were able to slow the run game when they had to slow the run game and get sacks when they needed to get sacks and put them behind the chains and force them to throw the ball, which Hurts did not do well.
He only threw for 108 yards
Yeah,
and two
yeah.
touchdowns,
He was sacked a
four
bunch,
times.
and he looked like he was slow to read his options. Like he did, I don't know. He couldn't get it. He couldn't get Smith the ball. I mean Brown the ball when Brown was open on a lot of routes.
Yep.
And he was just late. He was just late to getting them. I don't know if it was the early sacks that took him down in distance that had him looking at the pressure and not keeping his eyes downfield. But it didn't look good. And then you combat that with Bryce. The game is starting to slow down for Bryce.
He's
a little
looking
bit.
good. I'm
He's
really
look-
happy for him. Like that benching, since he
It-
came back from being on the bench, has looked like a different quarterback.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he like found some magic potion or something like that.
I was saying like sometimes you don't know how to be how a professional.
Yeah.
You don't know how to be a professional
Yeah.
unless someone is there to teach you. Like even in our jobs, if you go to a job and there's just nothing but rookies or new to the job, you just don't know. But if you can just sit back and watch someone else do it and see how their approach to the game and what they do, that
For
helps.
sure. 100%.
And maybe that's what he needed.
Yep.
Just and he came back out of that benching and he looked like a different person.
He's a different quarterback, 100%. And he's playing well. He's playing with confidence. He's making nice throws.
And I'll tell you one thing, I think that also helps that is Adam Thielen. He
Yes.
liked Adam Thielen last year.
Yes.
He he likes throwing the ball to
Old man
Adam
Thielen
Thielen.
still makes catches, man.
He does.
He's slow as shit, but he'll catch the ball.
But he's open
Yeah.
every single
That's
time.
their thing.
And
Like
but
how is this slow ass man?
and sure hands.
How is
And sure hands.
how is that slow ass man open? And my slow ass man, Keenan Allen, is like you have to throw the ball 1,000 miles an hour into a window the size of a football to get it to him. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, they played well, and I don't. He kept throwing the ball to Leggett,
Yeah,
and he was dropping a
Yeah.
lot of
he
passes,
wasn't.
and but he caught one on third down, which extended the
Mhm.
drive, and then that second down, that was a touchdown.
Mhm.
They were supposed to basically walk off, kick the field goal, go up one, and pretty much call it a game.
Mhm.
That was it, and it was a perfect pass. The route, he was wide open. He just didn't catch the ball.
Yeah. You think about the Panthers, they've had some wins in there, but they also had that loss in overtime where they fumbled on the first handoff. Chuba put it on the dirt, I think, and
That was that the Kansas City game?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, like it's just like they're there, they're on the cusp. I just need to still be bad for the rest of this year, so the Bears get that second round pick.
They don't have much of a choice. They could beat some of the teams that's on their record on their schedule. I
I
think.
don't know what they're looking at. They're sitting at the number 4 pick right now. They finish up with Dallas, winnable, Arizona, winnable, at Tampa, at Atlanta.
Atlanta's winnable at this point in time. Tampa shouldn't be,
Yeah.
but it's a division game, and if Bryce playing good, who
Who
knows?
knows?
Um,
Wouldn't that be something if
but
they went out the rest of the season? That'd be wild.
that'd be great for them. Like honestly, for Bryce, then at least they know they're on the right path. Because you can't tell me that go early in the season they weren't having like remorse,
Oh,
thinking,
Like they
what
were,
do we do in this draft?
they were bad.
Do we get if we're a high pick? Do we get a quarterback again?
Mhm.
Like now they see Bryce, a quarterback isn't even on their radar.
Yep.
Like even if they get a top 5 pick, right? A quarterback, they're like, okay, well, no, okay, we like that. Now let's start building around what we have versus basically starting over
This,
again.
that's kind.
It's a better position to
That's
be in.
kind of how it happened, and I know you don't like him, but that's how it kind of happened for Trevor Lawrence in that second year for the Jags. It like clicked for him midway through, and you could tell he was a different person. The back half of the second season. Is it good? Debatable, but he had a really nice back half of that second season. Got him to the playoffs, right? Not happening for the Panthers this year,
No.
but ideally the Panthers play well, Bryce plays well, and they lose. Browns go to the Steelers and lose because that's just I don't know. Did you watch Hard Knocks?
No.
Oh, you have to watch this for Mike Tomlin. It's worth it for Mike Tomlin. and the fact that they're covering teams that are playing against each other that hate one another, like the Browns and Steelers. There's nothing better in that episode than you see him in Tomlin and his guys in the room watching film. Tomlin puts his feet up on the table, or no, he doesn't put his feet on the table. He reaches forward, gets his bag of chili cheese Fritos, pops it open, sitting there. He's like, "No, that's that motherfucker right there." Just talking about like just eating his Fritos, talking football and what they have to do to stop people. It's just something about it is so football. It's like pure football, and it was a very good episode. Definitely worth the watch.
I'll watch it.
Buccaneers beat the Raiders, beat the brakes off the Raiders. The Raiders are 2 quarterbacks down. They're like at Desmond Ritter time. I think Desmond Ritter is their starter this week coming up against the Falcons, I believe. So that'll be interesting. Cardinals got mollywopped. We're getting mollywopped by the Seahawks. the Seahawks.
Which
oh boy,
I saw that loss messed up your chance. They said they went to like 4% now to make the playoffs, or win the division with that
Yeah, the
loss.
Cardinals are done.
So there goes your pick for
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. Thanks.
I just had to just throw that out
How
there.
are the 49ers doing?
They got a
Oh,
chance.
okay.
They still
Yeah,
have a
so the Cardinals.
chance.
Uh, but Seahawks looked. Gino's been playing really well, and you know who's been playing really well for them on offense? Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I was about to say it hasn't been
No,
Metcalf.
JSN has been legit for them, like just legit. So good for them. All right, game of. It's tough to say game of the year when every week it feels like there's a game of the year, but the Rams and the Bills, 44 to
Mhm.
42. It reminds me of that. Remember that Chiefs Rams game where Goff threw for like 500 yards and they scored 44 points, and then Mahomes threw for 500 yards and they scored 46 points or whatever it was. It feels a lot like that, right? Like 50 to
Mm.
50. Josh Allen had like an insane game. Threw for three, ran for three, first person to ever do that. No turnovers. Neither team had a turnover. Neither team
You can't.
at one point neither team had been sacked either. The first time, yeah, they both finished with no turnovers and no sacks, and like 7,000 yards of offense. The first time that's ever happened. Not the 7,000 yards. That's obviously an exaggeration.
I know.
The turnovers and sacks with the points and the yardage and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's never happened before.
Yeah, I kind of knew the Bills were going to lose. They were getting crushed. They were honestly getting crushed.
Yeah,
And I knew that was going to be a bad sign for the Rams, because that just means now Allen has to throw the ball. And he did. He got them back in the game.
yeah.
Till like at one point I think it was like 40 to 20 something. Like it seemed like the game was out of hand.
It was
And then it
it
wasn't.
was
It
it
was
was
like, wait a minute.
38-21 going into the fourth. It ended
Yeah.
up being 44-42.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, this game's out of hand. And it wasn't. It wasn't. I thought it was over.
Josh Allen, 22 of 37, 342, three touchdowns passing, 10 carries, 82 yards, three touchdowns rushing. Matt Stafford, 23 of 30, 320 and two. And then Kyron Williams put two in. And Puka Nacua ran one in too. Puka Nacua killed me in fantasy. Son of a bitch.
Well, I got killed by Allen,
But-
so I don't want to hear
Yeah.
anything. I don't want to hear anything.
Josh Allen, though, like just an outstanding game. Like it was a fun game to watch. It was on versus the Bears, and when I flipped off of the Bears and watched the rest of the Rams Bills, I was like, man, it was insane. I really enjoy watching Josh Allen play football. I really enjoy watching Matt Stafford play football.
Mhm.
Uh, when Matt Stafford was in Detroit, and I worked in Chicago, had a friend I worked with. He was a hardcore Bears fan. I used to say like, I like Matt Stafford. He's like, you're insane. Like, I like him. No, you can't like him.
That's when Matt was throwing 5,000 yards.
Yeah, but
and,
on a
yeah,
team
those-
that was like 3-13 every year, so it didn't matter, right?
Mhm.
It was the most inconsequential offensive numbers ever. And like he's good, and like the moment he gets a chance and goes and he wins the Super Bowl that first year, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, Josh Allen, is he MVP? I don't know.
Probably MVP.
I know there's still 4 games, man. If Saquon is still on pace to get 2150,
221. He'll probably hit it.
Yeah. It's like 125
But-
yards a game for the last 4 games.
Yeah, like I said, like I said it. My only argument against, and it's not against, it's the for Allen,
Mhm.
is that I think that Saquon's team as a whole is better than Allen's team as a whole.
But I'm gonna tell you what.
Yeah.
I know it's a difficult apples and oranges because if you take Josh Allen off the Bills, they're
That's the
but
that's the
if,
case.
If you take Saquon Barkley off the Eagles, we've talked about this. I think they're like a 4 or 5 win team. Like I don't believe in.
They were a
Jalen
10
Hurts.
win team last year without him on the
I
team.
understand that.
So that's what I mean. Like when you talk about Pro Bowlers at
Yeah.
the offensive lane,
Oh.
Pro Bowlers at Smith, Pro Bowlers at Brown. Hurts was a Pro Bowl at one. You talk about all that talent
Oh,
around there,
I
and that's
agree.
just the offensive side. So even when they had this team without Saquon,
I know.
and they won 10
Yeah, yeah, they
games.
were still good, and like,
That's a
I love Josh Allen. So like, if you're gonna tell me Josh Allen's the MVP, I'm gonna say sure. I just think there's an argument to be had for
oh
Saquon,
100%.
and like it shouldn't
Yes.
be
I
easily dismissed.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. And I would love to see a non-quarterback get the
Yeah,
award, but Allen has never won the
yeah,
award, which is also probably a positive in his favor. It's highly viewed now as a quarterback
yeah.
award. He is on a team where if you took him off that team would be nothing.
But you can say that
We're
about
not
most
talking
big
about
time quarterbacks. So if you take
exactly.
Mahomes off the Chiefs, if you take Burrow off
So if
the
you're asking who the most valuable player is to their team, one is going to be the
yeah,
quarterback, and two is going to probably be in the league the best quarterback in the league, which right now happens to be
yeah,
Allen. I'd love to see Saquon get
yes,
it. I even though I've started to hate him less and less because I like Saquon.
hmm
I've always liked Saquon. He put on that jersey. I had to hate him for a little
he's a
bit,
tough dude to
and I
hate too.
don't.
I don't know if you heard the stories that came out this last week about how he was like a babysitting this family when he was like in high school, and like
I don't. I would have turned. If I'd have turned. I don't
and
want to
like
hear
there's all
that.
these kids. They're like, oh, he was great. He'd stay up and play games with us and read stories and all stuff. They're like,
He's a
I
great
know,
guy, and it's hard. It's hard, and he smiles when he
yes, yeah,
plays. He's a happy. He's a great guy, and I couldn't hate him for long. Thanks, Saquon,
yeah.
for not making me hate you. But whatever,
All right,
whatever. He wears that green jersey if I hate him. So
it's understandable. I'm gonna tell you what. If all I've had Bears go to put on a green jersey and I've hated them, but as soon as that green jersey comes off, it's like, hey, all right, it's Stephen Michael, it's Derek Mann. Um, it's yeah, Julius Peppers stung a little bit. I really like Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers when he was on the Bears, people hated him because they were stat watchers, right? They're like, he doesn't have enough sacks, but he's also a dude that took three guys to
take
stop
double teams too. Yes,
every
he was
game.
huge.
He's such a big man, and he's such a
Yeah.
freak. He was the best athlete every time he was on the field, either side of the ball, right? Always. And
Didn't he play basketball for North
yes,
Carolina?
and
He played. I don't know. He played football
yeah,
there.
and the Chicago Meatball fans, he doesn't get enough sacks. He's only got 7 sacks this season. Blah 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 blah. The
He is a defensive end, and that's what his job is. He's
well,
not like a tackle who's supposed to take up two people.
but he was a defensive end that would take up two people, then a back as well. He'd get double teamed, then he'd get the defensive get a running back blocking him as well.
Chipping him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Julius Peppers when he left, I was like, oh god, it was like I was angry at him. I was a little more angry at him for going to the Packers. It's like, how can you go to the Packers? All right, I don't know if you remember, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I said that there's a certain team that is like the anti-Bears because they had 2 field goals that should have like hit uprights, but yet they went in, and that was the Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
But, and then this week, once again,
Doink.
and Matt Nagy's got to be on the sideline. He is on the sideline. He's the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, and if his jaw didn't drop on that one, I hope that one broke his brain as much as the double doink broke his brain. Like he had to sit there and be like, that can't possibly happen, can it?
That's not how that works.
Dude banks it in. Come on. The Chargers should have won that game. The Chiefs should have lost that game. And how many games have we said this year the Chiefs should have lost that game? It's like 5 at least.
At least
Because the Broncos had their field goal blocked and a walk-off block. Like there's so many.
the Ravens stepped on their toes, stepped on the sidelines.
So many.
The Panthers. We just talked
Yes.
about the Panthers.
Like,
yeah, it's
the Chiefs should not be 12-1, but they are 12-1, and they're still a good team. Like they're the most. They shouldn't be 12-1 team ever, but like you can't take it away.
they're not
from
even
them.
fun to watch
They're
though.
not.
Like they last year they was fun to watch even in some of those losses because they weren't one of the better teams. They're not fun to watch.
They're
They're very boring.
they win ugly, and it's not like a fun ugly. It's not like
Mhm.
it's not like, oh, That was good.
I'll
No.
tell you what. Steve Spagnuolo, who should for the rest of his life, he is a career DC,
Yeah.
right? I don't think he should ever try to be a head coach again, but he does that job like a champ.
Yes, he does.
That defense
Yes,
plays
they do.
every every
Every
week,
week.
and he has them ready to play and ready to pick up whatever slack Mahomes needs. Mahomes, you need this drive. I got you this drive. All right, you need us to hold them to 3 while you only feel like splitting 6 up today. All right, that's I guess that's what we're doing.
And here it is. Can the Chiefs ride that D all the way to the Super Bowl? MJD gives the look. Yes, they'll probably go to the Super Bowl, and it drives me insane. And then that leads us to last night's game. Did you watch any of last night's game?
I couldn't. I couldn't watch last night's game because I had one guy I needed Higgins to have a but better game than CeeDee Lamb. But when the first drives happened and CeeDee Lamb scored a touchdown, I cut everything off. I didn't need to see it anymore. I already knew I lost fantasy, so no.
I watched
I
the
did
first half as the Simpsons cast.
not.
Because not because I wanted to.
You was interested?
My daughter wanted to watch it,
Okay.
so we watched it, and it was rough, right? It was better than the Toy Story one, but there were still guys that like, where did that guy come from? He like shoot down from outer space. You could tell that that broadcast was several seconds, probably half a minute behind.
It has to be, yeah.
Because they're like, oh, why is Bart on the field now? Oh, he caught a touchdown. Oh, why is Lisa in the backfield? Oh, Lisa just turned the corner and ran for 40 yards. So those sorts of things happen. And then I watched the second half like a normal human being. With the Manning cast. The only thing that you have to take away from that game is it was 20-20. The Bengals were going to punting away.
That's what this
With like 2 minutes left on the clock, right?
2 minutes to go. Yep. Cowboys are getting the ball back.
And they weren't going to just get the ball back. They blocked the punt.
Mm-hmm.
And then dude on the Cowboys, for whatever reason, tried to scoop it
When
up.
to be a hero. When to be a hero.
You don't even have to touch it. It's a punt, right? Don't touch it. Once it crosses the line of scrimmage, it's a live punt, right? So like you touch it, then the other team can just grab it. That dude tried to scoop it, and it didn't just like accidentally bump off his shin, like you see happen sometimes. It hit off his damn chest.
Yep.
And the Bengals recover, and then the Bengals, it's just like Burrow to Chase. That's all it was. Dink, and then Chase just outran everybody for 30 yards, and
Yeah, it was Bart to Lisa, is what I heard.
See, that's what I'm saying,
Bart,
right? Like
Bart to Lisa on the last second drive.
I know they didn't like do any sideline stuff, but I wonder if Micah Parsons would have been like Mo or something like that, because Micah Parsons,
He was sad.
He was beside himself. He could not believe it was happening. You saw him on the sideline. He's just like, he's talking to himself. He's throwing his hands in the air. He's looking around. Like there's nobody around him. He's just talking. Talking. And it wasn't like, you see some guys like get angry and yell. Like, rah! He was just like having a conversation.
Yeah, it broke him?
He was broken.
Are you saying it? Oh.
Now, did you hear what Micah said before the game? Or like sometime between?
No.
He said, I love playing in Dallas. What's the difference between 30 and 40 million? That's what it takes to play in Dallas. I'll take the 30. What?
He's not.
Don't be stupid.
He's not doing it.
Don't be stupid,
that.
Micah.
He wouldn't do it.
No.
He wouldn't do it.
That's what everybody says.
Second.
What's the difference between 30 and 40 million? $10 million. That's a lot. Get your money.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Like he watched 2 players hold that team by the genitals.
Mm-hmm.
If he was there long enough, he watched Ezekiel Elliott do it. I'm not sure if he was there then, but he's watched players hold them over the hot iron, the coals, for their money.
Yep.
And every time,
yep,
there's not like he has an example of it not working.
Nope. It always works.
It has worked every single time.
Yep.
Now, would they test your free agency? No, I don't think they would.
They still got her
Now,
fifth year
the
on her.
problem, yeah, but the problem is I don't know how holdouts work. I know how it works, but I don't know have an example of too many defensive holdouts making a difference um and them not doing it. Because like CeeDee Lamb held out. If Dak would have held out, that's direct points. And they just can't do
Yeah,
that. It, only thing he has to his advantage is holding out. But how often do defensive holdouts work?
I'm trying to think. Chris Jones is the last one I could think of that worked.
Yes.
And
Yes. But he even then that didn't work. They signed him for a temporary 1 year deal,
then they
and he was
extended.
basically on a prove it deal. And then after the offseason, he got paid. But that year, it's not like they signed the deal like 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 what they did with, because I guess once you go into the season, you can't really do.
Yeah,
You still
yeah.
can, because but yeah, maybe, but I just don't know how defensive that's going to work. They would love to get a deal done with Micah, and if they learned anything, they'd want to get it done sooner rather than
You
later.
think?
I don't know who's up for contracts, but Micah's seeing every defensive player that got a contract and says, I need more. Brian Burns, I need more than Brian Burns.
Yes.
Max Crosby, I need more than Crosby. It doesn't make a difference who's out there. TJ Watt, I need more than him. Bosa's, I need more than both. All whatever it is. So the difference between 30 and 40 doesn't make a difference. What makes him the highest paid defensive end in the league?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to take to get Micah Parsons, and it's not a dime less. So they need to know
On
that.
the plus side, looking towards the Dallas Cowboys 2026 salary cap, which is when his extension would
They-
kick in. They're
Mhm.
they're sitting under the cap quite nicely at 96 million under the cap, under the
He
projected
will
cap.
get
But they
it.
only have like
He'll get
40
his.
guys, 30 guys on roster. So
He'll get his contract before that.
yeah,
If he,
but 2026 would be the year that the extension kicks in because next year is his fifth year
mhm.
option, right? So like next year
you
he
don't you
is,
don't play. You're not playing on that 5th year.
well he's going to they picked it up. So
Actually, you play, but I mean, you don't actually go out on the field
oh yeah, until you have the extension.
until you have the
Yeah, if he's
extension.
smart, this way he
It's
does.
useless. Yeah, it's just yeah. Oh yeah, it's a 5th year. That sounds great. I'm not playing it. You won't see me here. Let's get this contract done because of also technically I'm on my 5th year. I'm on my final year.
Hmm.
If I get injured, tear my ACL,
Yep,
whatever,
exactly.
I'm not playing.
Nope,
I'm sorry, guys.
that's why you need
Sorry.
that. Yep, I agree, 100%, hundred
So
percent. Oh, but yeah, they're a mess, and it's fun to be a mess. I
it
like
is.
watching other
It
teams
is.
be messes, like the Jets and the Cowboys and the Browns, like the
Oh, you can talk about the Giants.
the
It's fine. The Giants is
Raiders,
a fun
the
mess. It's a,
Giants. Yeah, like they're not my mess, so good. But my dumpster fire is eating me alive from the inside.
I understand because I'm enjoying, although my team is really, really bad, I'm enjoying that the Jets are not very good.
Just terrible.
I'm quiet. I'm quietly enjoying that the Bears aren't doing well. I feel sorry for them though because they should be doing better. And when I look at the Bears, I don't see a dumpster fire team, right? I see a team that's just like, damn, they're not winning, but they should be.
Yeah,
Like some teams I look like you didn't stand a chance in winning. Like, when you put your helmet on this morning, you knew you weren't going to win.
there's a lot
So,
of the Patriots, the Titans,
mhm.
the Browns,
The
the
Oakland
Oakland
Raiders, the
Raiders.
Giants, a little bit like the Giants early on in the season when you're like, oh, they don't look that bad. Yeah, that's a totally different
Yeah,
team.
the Jets, the
That
Jags.
team they've been in.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
bad teams
there's
right now.
the Titans,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
Will Levis and the boys. They
Oh,
just like
I'm looking at it right now, and the Bears are at 4-9, and they're the ninth pick at 4-9 right now, because the Raiders 2-11, Giants 2-11, New England 3-10, Carolina 3-10, Jacksonville 3-10, Tennessee 3-10, Jets 3-10, Browns 3-10. That's just a lot. There's a lot of bad football. There's way more
there's a
bad
lot
than
of
there's
bad
good
football.
this year. It feels
Hmm.
like it's going to be a logjam. Like the Bears could finish at like 6-11 and still be like the ninth or 10th pick somehow. It just
Yeah, a 5-win team used to get you seven,
yeah
eight, eighth pick in the
Yeah.
draft, ninth latest, and you're talking about the Cowboys got 5 wins and
The Cowboys
they're
are
out.
right
They
now
may
the
be at the
number.
top
They're
10.
in the number 12 pick right now.
That's what I'm saying. They're the top 10 pick.
Yeah, they're not good.
So you got it. But if you're gonna stink, you got to really stink in the
Yeah,
NFL.
yeah.
You got to really
You
stink.
gotta go out of your way to be really bad. Um, yeah. All right. Last week we were tied.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
122 and 73 and 122 and 73.
I took some dogs.
This week though, well listen, if we only counted the early games, I am grand champion. Because I only thing I missed was the Jags over the Titans. But then
Hmm.
if we go 49ers Bears, oh I missed on that one. Cardinals and Seahawks, oh I missed on that one. Rams and Bills, oh I missed on that one. Chiefs and Chargers, oh I missed on that one. You know who didn't miss on those? You. So you got 9 wins, I got 8. So
What? I thought I just knew I lost because I was like, man, the Jets messed me up, screwed me
you
over.
had the Lions.
Yep.
Well you switched.
I had the
Yeah,
Lions.
oh no, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I switched.
You had the Packers.
I had the
You had
Packers. I had the Packers.
but you had the Saints after you switched from the Giants. So that,
Okay, good.
so
All right.
but then you had the Titans, you had the Jets, you had oh no, you had the Vikings. But then you got them all right up until the Bills and Rams. If it wasn't for the Bills and Rams game being insane, you would have ran the table from the 6th game on, right? So anyway, you had 9, I had 8, 131 and 74 to 130 and 75. But this is a new week. This is the week where I go undefeated.
Uh-huh.
And it starts on Thursday night.
Are you picking the Bears?
You'll see. The
Okay.
49ers host the Rams. The 49ers 6-7 versus the 7-6 Rams. 49ers are 2.5-point favorites at home.
You said the 49ers are 2.5-point
Yes.
favorites? They're at home?
Yes.
Man, I kind of want to take the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to take the Rams, but they're dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm currently ahead.
Yes.
Right? So I got to think. When I was behind, I took a lot of dogs that I knew you wouldn't take. And San Francisco's my pick, isn't it? That's my pick. I got to go San Francisco.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a dog because I just like Matt Stafford. And I need the 49ers to lose just because of what they did to the Bears this last week. Somebody's got to perform some sort of retribution. Now, here, in my opinion, might be the most difficult pick of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Well, let's do the Giants first. This is not the most difficult pick of the week. The
The Giants versus the
Giants
Ravens?
host the
Let's
Ravens.
get that out the way.
The Giants host the Ravens. The Ravens are 14.5-point favorites on the road.
The Giants might cover, but they don't win. So I'm picking the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm picking the Ravens as well. I don't see
A world where the Giants win? Yeah, this
against the Ravens coming off the bye. No.
yeah. No.
All right. So here's what I think might be the most difficult game to pick. With I don't know. The Browns are 3-10 at home hosting the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites on the road. I don't think the Chiefs have covered a point spread all year.
That's a tough. You're right. That's a tough one to pick. Naturally, you just want to say the Chiefs,
But the Chiefs can't win them all, especially with the way
they can't.
especially with the way they've been winning. Like something's got to give, right? There's got to be a bad game in there somewhere, or some bounces just don't happen all the time.
Yeah, but like I said, if Spagnola is putting a game plan for Jameis Winston, I gotta pick Spags over Winston, right?
Yeah.
and I gotta pick the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's
Go.
even though Winston's been having really good games and had them in the game.
Mhm.
I just think that the defense of the Chiefs is better. And it's crazy. I'm not even talking about Mahomes. I'm strictly talking. Mahomes is going to do enough to win. It won't be pretty, but the defense is what's going to win the game for them.
How many pick sixes will the Lord deliver to the Chiefs this week?
He did. Listen. He delivered them from the pick sixes last week. There was no pick sixes. He threw some picks, but he just hits the
Yes.
sixes part that he didn't get.
Yes. So fortunately, but yeah, I gotta pick the Chiefs. I feel like there's something about it. Like the Chiefs just they're
Did you
good.
see Kadarius Tony plays on the Browns and he absolutely stunk it up
Not
again?
as of this morning he was released.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
this man, God,
He was
he
released.
muffed a punt. Like,
Yeah.
oh
He was let go. Uh then we have the Titans hosting the Bengals. The Bengals are 5-point favorites.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Bengals. The Titans can't score. The Bengals have horrible defense, but the Titans can't score. So
Oh, that's a good point. What will happen? It's like the immovable object in an unstoppable force. Uh,
no, the Titans will not. The Titans will not.
the Saints minus Derek Carr, so that means they got what's his face?
I don't even know.
What is his name? Rattler, Spencer Rattler.
Oh yeah,
My
Spencer
camera's
Rattler.
going wonky. There we go. Spencer Rattler versus the Commanders. Commanders are 7-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, I gotta go with the
Yeah, me
Commanders.
too.
Spencer Rattler. They don't have Taysom Hill. They've just got Kamara. That's it.
Yeah, Olave's still out. Yeah, they're.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fun one. The Panthers are hosting the Cowboys.
I
The
know.
Panthers are 2.5-point favorites at home.
I want to pick the Cowboys. No, no, that's it. I want to pick the Panthers.
All right.
I'm going to pick the
I'm picking
Panthers.
the Panthers too.
Oh, we need to switch it up
I
somewhere.
can't pick the Cowboys. They're terrible. It is the Panthers. Oh no, my camera is way off now.
Your camera's been moving this
I
whole
know.
time.
Like,
It's like sliding, going down
yeah,
sometimes.
it's just like all over the place. My tripod broke, right? So now I'm like just resting on a box, and like the cord like moves the box. Oh, what a life. Hey, there we go. All right. Here's a fun one to pick. The Jets go to Duval, and the Jaguars host them. The Jets are
The
the Jets
Jets.
are 3.5-point favorites.
The Jets. The Jags really don't have anything. And with Lawrence isn't playing, Mac Jones going up against his form. No, that's not his former team. Sorry. I thought that was Zach Wilson. No. So yeah, no. It's Mac Jones. So
Yeah,
picking the Jets.
yeah. God, I picked. I said no dogs. I can't pick. I cannot, in my right mind, pick the Jags. So I'm taking the Jets.
hmm The Jets have been scoring
The
lately.
Jets are bad, but they're not the Titans, right?
Yes.
So Texans host the Dolphins. Texans are 3-point favorites. They are an iffy 8-5, in my opinion. The Dolphins are an iffy 6-7. You're frozen.
Oh no, I am frozen. No, I was making a weird face. I was just sitting there like this,
Oh,
thinking.
I really thought you were frozen. You
I
were
wasn't.
unmoving.
I was unmoving because I'm sitting there thinking, and I kind of want to pick the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I kind of want to pick the Dolphins. Yeah, I'm picking the
All right.
Dolphins.
I still like C.J. Stroud, so I'm taking the Texans.
I do too, but it's just I don't know.
I like Devin A.
Maybe,
Chan though, and I need him to ball out.
but
Mixon's
good.
too, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, they both have players I like, and the Texans they haven't been the same this year.
Nope,
And I don't think
nope.
that's any
That's
fault
why.
of C.J. Stroud. I think it's because he's still playing fine. There's just something weird about him. They're just not clicking like they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Speaking of clicking, the goddamn Broncos are 8-5. They're hosting the Colts. The Broncos are 4-point favorites.
Who are they hosting?
The Colts. Mile high Anthony Richardson. So he might be able to throw the ball 90 yards downfield.
I don't want to pick the Colts.
Now you can.
I know. This will be two separate ones where we differ. No, I can't. I'm going Sean Payton. I'm going with had to go with what I thought, and I'm gonna say Sean Payton is the better coach in this situation. And Anthony Richardson throws a lot of floaters.
Well, I'm
Throws them farther.
I'm going to pick the Colts because I feel like the Broncos, they're not good. Uh, even though every numbered metric says they are pretty good, they're all right. I just I just I
Is it our early season hate? Bo Nix hate? This is coming back.
no, I don't. It's definitely Sean Payton hate. It has nothing to do with
Oh,
Bo Nix.
okay.
I actually enjoy the fact that Bo Nix is playing well. I just wish he wasn't playing well for Sean Payton. Okay, so now here is America's game of the week, game of the year possibly, because we have to have one every week. The Lions host the Bills. The Lions are 2.5-point favorites.
I'm going Lions, and I know you're going Allen.
Yeah, I have to.
You're going Allen. Yeah,
I
I'm
have
going
to
I'm
go with the
going
Bills.
I'm going
And it has
Lions.
nothing to do with like this is not a
I hate
this isn't a I
the
hate the
Lions.
Lions thing because
You like
I
Allen.
really like
That's
Josh Allen. Like so, if this were the Ravens and the Lions, I'd go Ravens. If this, Josh Allen, it's Lamar Allen. Like those are 1 and 2 in my book.
And then if you throw Herbert in there,
Oh
your
boy,
love for
yeah,
Herbert.
the Chargers. I'd probably still pick the Lions versus Chargers, but it'd be close. All right, so here's the other game of the week, possible game of the year. Eagles, because they have to have at least 2 a week. Eagles are hosting the Steelers. Eagles 11-2, Steelers 10-3. Philadelphia are 5-point favorites at home.
And they lose.
Wow.
Underdog wins. I will. They will have something for Saquon, and they will force Hurts to be a thrower. That is the game plan they got to have going into that game. We have to stop, and they have the line and the safeties to be able to slow Saquon down and force Hurts to throw the ball. And that man TJ Watt is
He's
going
a
to be
problem.
coming after Hurts.
He is a bona fide
So
problem.
now and then, yeah, I'm definitely picking Pitt.
All right. Well, I'm taking the Eagles in that one.
You can. They won't do it. They won't get the job done.
Is so we have Josh Allen going against the Lions. We got the Eagles going against the Steelers. The two, in my opinion, top MVP candidates going right now, going against in premier games at the same time
Mm-hmm.
of the day. Like
I'll be watching these games.
those are games to flip between. One's on CBS and one's on Fox, so there's a strong chance that you can flip between them.
I'm gonna tell you what. So I use DirecTV streaming,
Yeah.
and they don't have CBS.
Oh no.
I can never watch CBS
Oh
games.
no.
I have to, but I've got Paramount Plus.
Okay, so
And they do play the game. Yeah, that's how I have to watch
you
them.
can do like multi screen here because you can have the Steelers and the Eagles on the big screen. You can put the Lions and the Bills on the tablet, and have them both side by side, just staring at them.
I sit them right here on my computer right here, and I have both two monitors
Oh, 2
going.
windows. Yeah, that's good thinking. I
Mm-hmm.
wish it was comfortable for me to sit at the desk for that long. Let's see. Steelers, Eagles. Then we have the Patriots going to Arizona to face the Cardinals. Arizona are 6-point favorites.
Yeah, I'm going Arizona. This should be an easy pick.
It should be, right?
Patriots play hard, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Chargers host the Bucks. This is an interesting game. Another game of the
You
another
know,
game.
you know who I'm not picking.
Another game of the year. Chargers are 3-point favorites at home. You're taking the Bucks.
Oh, at home? Nope. Never mind. Never mind. At home, I'm picking the Chargers.
Oh, I'm taking the Chargers as well. But it's tough because I like Baker Mayfield too.
Yeah,
Just
it's at home.
just there.
It's the going across the.
Yeah. Go,
But I was at SoFi Stadium. It didn't really give anyone a very good, clear advantage. It's not a very good home stadium.
all right. So then the Sunday night game is the Packers going to Seattle. Packers 9-4, Seattle 8-5. Green Bay
Just
are
mark me down for the
3-point
Packers.
favorites.
Just mark me down for the Packers, sir.
Okay, you can have the Packers. This is the week where the Packers are exposed as the frauds that they are,
Derek, if you want to win this, you should probably stop just
I
going against
can't.
the
I
Packers.
cannot pick the Packers for anything. There's
I
there's
did.
no
That's why I didn't pick the Cowboys or the
there's
Eagles.
nothing that says the Packers are going to win this game for me.
Oh,
They have to go across the country. They're playing at night.
that across the country. It's like a 2 hour flight for
It's
them.
still across the country. They gotta go over a mountain range.
Like a 2.5 hour
They gotta
flight
go over a
from
mountain range.
Wisconsin.
It's more than it's like 3.5 probably, but they gotta go over a mountain range. They're going to Seattle. They're playing in the dome. The 12th man is there, right? And the you know what the Seahawks will probably do? They'll probably like honor somebody at halftime,
Oh.
which will lock their loss. We honor the Legion of Boom.
We honor you, fans. The 12th man here.
All right. Now, for some reason, we have two stank ass games on Monday night this week. One is the Bears go to the Vikings. The Bears 4-9, Vikings 11-2. Minnesota are 7-point favorites at home.
See, I didn't have to bet my team because they were going up against a clear favorite, so I was easily able to pick the Ravens. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick the Bear. I gotta go Vikings. So,
Now I'm gonna tell you what.
okay, let me know.
So last week was tough, right? You spent the 6 previous weeks being humiliated in one way or another. And you fire your head coach, right?
Uh-huh.
Got the guy, Thomas Brown, went from passing coordinator to OC. When he was OC, he was up in the booth, calling plays, right? He wasn't on the sideline. Then they made him head coach, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to just keep calling plays, which is tough, right? You're like, I'm going to do double duty. It's difficult, but he's a smart guy. He's got to figure it out now. So the Bears are going to win.
I was like, "Where's this going?" Okay,
He's had a week. He's figured it out. He's dipped his foot.
He's
Dipped
practicing.
his toe in the pool. He's like, oh, it's kind of warm. It's
I can get. It's a little cold, but I
yeah,
can get used to
it.
it.
Let me shiver for a little bit. Hey, coach, your lips are turning blue. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Right. So
Okay.
I think he's got to figure it out. We're gonna see the same Bears but different.
Oh, okay.
Look at this.
Okay.
They're not even on ESPN proper. They're on ESPN Plus. They're the ABC/ESPN Plus game. How upsetting is that? Anyway, so the Bears and the Vikings. I think the Bears, they don't just win. They win convincingly. I want to say like they're going to put up like a 35 spot, and they're going to keep the Vikings to under 10.
I was maybe 36-42 Vikings is what I'm thinking.
36 for the Bears, huh?
I don't really see 36. I don't. I can't even play DJ Moore anymore in fantasy. It's just it's getting bad.
It is so frustrating. And then the Falcons fly out to the Sin City and face the Raiders. The Raiders are 2-11. They're going to be throwing Desmond Ridder out there on the field, the quarterback for him, against his former team, the Falcons, who are going to throw the old version of Desmond Ridder out there. Kirk Cousins is a pick machine.
I kind of want to pick Oakland. I need Oakland to win. I need Oakland to win.
Las Vegas.
Vegas, yes. Sorry. I need Vegas to win.
You're taking the Raiders?
Yes, I am.
Well, I am begrudgingly taking the Falcons because they're 5-point favorites. I don't think they'll win, but I'm taking to win because
Desmond Ridder wants revenge.
Maybe he wants revenge. I'm sure he wants revenge. I'm sure this is one of those revenge games where if you talk to him, it's like, yeah, I want to shove it up the Falcons' ass, and he's gonna get sacked and throw picks all over the place. It's going to be really bad. That team is bad to begin with mediocre to bad quarterbacks, but Desmond Ridder is a bad quarterback on a bad team now. It's going to be not a good thing.
Kirk Cousins throws you the ball if you're the other team. He just throws you the
Desmond
ball.
Ritter's going to throw it right back to you.
It's the worst game of catch ever.
Yes.
Just the worst.
And if he doesn't throw it, he's going to drop it. It's one of the two. He's going to throw it to you, or he's going to drop it at your feet. So
Maybe they have a different weapon. Maybe they got a quarterback that we don't even know about who will see the game because they can't keep quarterbacks healthy.
that team is. So
I just need to win one game.
yeah, you do need that. And boy, I guess this is as winnable as any other one they may have.
Mm-hmm.
So why not this one?
Why not
I mean,
this one at
this
home
would be the
against Kirk Cousins, who's thrown a bunch of interceptions? You're a professional football team, right?
you have pride.
You got pride.
This is the one you need, right? Because, like, boy, if Doctor Strange did his 15 million scenarios, I don't know if the Giants win against the Ravens at all,
Up
right?
15 minutes. I saw no way of
Yeah.
victory. I think the only way is we gotta hit a few people with a bus
Yes.
the day before.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know how it happens. So if Vegas beats Atlanta, but Vegas has got some winnable games on there. Atlanta, Jacksonville, New Orleans, back to back to back.
Yes.
But if you get to the spot where you're now the number one pick, it's yours to keep. Like you control your own destiny here, right? Just lose out. Just
Mm-hmm.
lose out, Giants. It's yours. So we'll see. So you can get that flip there. That's good. What you don't want is a Raiders Falcons tie.
No, I
That-
don't.
you don't
Why
want
don't you mention that? Why don't you even
Because that's
mention
what the
that?
Bears had that year. The Texans had a tie on their and they needed an outright loss, and they got it right. So yeah, you don't want that tie. That's for sure. So
Like things with just putting that in the air. I wasn't even thinking of time.
don't want that tie. So you need the outright loss, and you need to be flip flopped, and then just be in the driver's seat for the number one pick. It's not
Yes.
a good it's not a good spot to be at because you'll be 2-12, which is not anything to hang your hat on. But
No, but you have to as the 76ers made famous, you have to trust the process. It sucks. It sucks.
yeah,
But you got to trust the
this is a tough
process.
process. And now, if we go back in time, uh, I know there's a young man that would argue with me that you can't go out there and try to lose.
I don't believe you should. I don't think you can. I don't think you can. I
don't
don't think
believe it
we
can.
have wins. I think we have tried to win, and this is what we're
Yeah.
getting.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I know.
So I don't blame any of the players. I kind of blame the organization. When they got rid of Daniel Jones, they said, we don't care about the season. That's what they said.
Hmm.
That's what they said. I can understand benching Daniel Jones for a game or two, but the whole benching him and then putting him into the third or fourth string was kind of like, we're done.
They didn't want him to get hurt.
We're
They didn't want
ripping
him
the
to they want him to be
Band-Aid
on the line
off.
for $40 million next year.
Yeah, y'all got the money, whatever. But I'm just like, you knew what you were doing. So let's just
Oh yeah,
continue
it
going.
is very premeditated. There's no
Yes.
like, oh, we just happened to lose.
And then they were
15
like,
games
"Oh,
this year.
let's throw Tommy DeVito out there because he's third string. He's got to give us a better chance of losing."
Mhm. But you play it
And
off
then
as
they
like, what? Remember last year when everybody got excited about Tommy Cutlets?
hmm
Yeah.
But then they realized Drew Lock really is really bad. He's giving you your best chance of losing.
Yes.
Like that's what I was worried about Tommy, that they might have snuck a win in there with him. But Drew, there's no wins. I've watched enough. He went 0 for 8 for his first to start the
I was
game.
gonna-
They said the last person that went 0 for 8 was a quarterback. The Miami Dolphins did not have a starting quarterback on their roster, so he's a wide receiver who played quarterback. He is the first. He went 0 for 8 in that game. You're trying to tell me that Drew Lock can't beat a wide receiver to a quarterback? For one game? I was like, all right, Drew, whatever. You stink.
Yeah, he was
You
pretty
stink.
bad. I was gonna screenshot that stat line because I couldn't believe it. Right? It was insane because like
You can't throw. Now he had some drops in there, but listen, if I'm 0 for 4, I'm like, all right, we're calling the screenplay
yeah,
here. Like,
gotta get something.
I gotta get something.
Gotta get something. Gotta get the ball moving. Get some confidence. I don't know that Giants team. It's rough, and I feel bad for you because it's
I don't.
no, well, not no, I
We.
don't. I'm
Yeah.
not pitying you. Trust me, but it's like I know what it's like to sit there and stare at that. You're gonna be glued to Tankathon for the next 4 weeks, uh,
so,
dreaming of
so I
scenarios.
just listen. I don't know the last time we've been in a situation, as far as I can remember, where we had the number one pick in the draft. Maybe Lawrence Taylor.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's probably the last number one pick we've had. Um, so that's it, right?
I'm looking
Maybe,
up right now.
maybe.
The Giants have held the first overall pick twice, 1951 and 1965.
So nope, not even Lawrence Taylor. So like it's never even been in my lifetime. Even when we got Eli Manning, we were the pick. We were the, I think the third pick.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
because it went. Yeah. So listen, to get us if we can get the first pick, that I listen that I'm fine with that. I thought we had a nice neighbors pick. I think had a nice draft last year. Let's follow it up with another solid draft, and then let's prepare for 2026, 2027. That's what we're preparing for, and I'm fine with that. And I think the fans should be under have to understand that these fans that don't quite understand that you're not going to make this team over in an overnight. Like I said, the tough thing is that Dayball did. Like in that 1 year, they went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. So it hurt them, but
Yeah.
whatever. It put us back behind. It just set us back a year or two. We would have had to do this last year or the year before last, and it set us back a year or two in our transition. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I think
We'll
what
get it.
stinks for you is that you're you're still like at square one, right? Like you you've been at square one for like 3 straight years now, so it's like hopefully it starts lurching forward a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is the first year I can say square one. We have no Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
We have no quarterback. So all those other years, the Giants have tried to band-aid
Yeah.
fix this without actually ripping the band-aid off and going full trash, full
But but
tank.
it,
And that's
but you were
fine.
nowhere near being truly competitive Super Bowl wise, and you're
Oh no.
nowhere near being long term competitive, right? So that's what I mean by square one. Like, yeah, okay, so you made the playoffs the 1 year, but none of that felt like it was a long term
Repeatable.
repeatable sort of thing. So then you're just kind of spinning wheels here. So
But that's a lot of teams always kind of
yes,
spinning their wheels, stuck in that middle tier, and can't go into the upper echelon and are too good to drop down below. And that's where you are when you're at
well,
5 wins, 5 to 7 wins a year.
yeah, but the Giants have had like a top 5 pick, like other than that playoff, like 6 or 7 times in the last decade. So, uh,
We had y'all pick that the one that got us Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. We would have had the top seven. We would have been seventh, I think, that year. We had a top pick when we had Saquon Barkley. We had not a top pick, but I think we picked third that year. Daniel Jones was the fifth pick. So we've been picking in the top five
yeah.
a few
So you
times.
you went six
So
last year, 24 the year before, 5 the year before with Kayvon Thibodeau.
mhm.
Then you had the
Yep,
Bears
that
number
was the one.
7, and then
Then we went
tw-
10 with Kayvon on tip with Kayvon. No, we had the
you had the
10th pick,
11th
but we wind up drafting going backwards. That was the
Kadarius Tony.
Devontae Smith, Kadarius Tony thing.
Then you had Andrew Thomas at 4, Daniel Jones at 6. That's going back to
And
2019.
then Saquon is
Yeah.
three
So
the year before that. So yeah, we've had some years where we were in there, but there, like I said, there's a 10 in there that we wind up not drafting until 11, till 20. There's a 24 in
that
there,
you earned
right?
24.
We earned 24. And then we have a 7 and a 4 that time with the
You
Bears.
earned the six, you earned
So
a five, you earned a four, you earned a six, right? So yeah, the Giants have been drafting high for a hot minute, just like the Bears have.
Andrew Thomas panned
Yep.
out. Probably I still like Kayvon Thibodeau. Evan Neal did not pan out. And we don't have Saquon. We don't have Daniel Jones. We don't have Kadarius Toney. We don't have most of those first round picks. That's the tough part. Like if you can stack draft picks, that's fine, but you have to keep them.
Yeah.
Right? They have to stay on your team,
Yep.
and they haven't. So,
Yep. That makes it tough. That makes it tough.
but but like I've been told in when I did in CrossFit that time, and I picked up too much weight, and I went to put it back, and the trainer just told me, "Don't put that back. Embrace the suck." That is what the Giants have to do right now. We have to embrace the suck.
Mm.
We're not very good, and as if you are a true fan, you understand this. Like you understand that the product that they're putting out is not there, and the only way to get a better product out there, it's not to fire the head coach. It's not really going to change much. It's to get more talent into the organization. So that means we got to do it in the draft, and it's a slow process. Unless you want us to just go and buy a bunch of free agents next year, which I don't think is the right way to
Nope.
go, especially with the talent that if we were a middle of the pack trying to get to the another tier, maybe. But no, this is this year. Hopefully you stack. You had a good draft this year. Have a next good draft next year, and the following year, if you have a good quarterback in place or you got a plan in place, you move up to 3 wins in the division. Right? That's really what you're really looking at. You're just trying to move up in the
Yep.
division. That's it.
Yep.
So
Now, you want to finish by talking about your Mets real fast?
um,
Because I spent a whole lot of money for Juan Soto.
they did, but I was listening to Buster Only talk, and he was basically saying this is the first time. It's not the fact that the Yankees did not get a pick. It's the fact that they lost a
To the
pick,
Mets.
a highly coveted pick to end sound right. We've been little brother for so long.
Yeah.
This is the first time ever that a player has said no to the Yankees and yes to the Mets.
It
A
only took
team.
three quarters of $1 billion.
Listen, he's got it. And unlike the Dodgers, Cohen said all the salary will be getting paid. None of this salary is
Yeah.
deferred. Every dime is getting paid during that 15 years, which I'm okay because then we don't have to have Bobby Monday a day. We will be done paying him at the same time, I think, that we're done paying
Could you
Bobby
imagine if you,
Bonilla.
you gave Bobby Bonilla, they have Juan Soto Day, where you're giving out $10 million a year for the next 3 decades?
Ten- Oh, it would be a
Yeah,
lot.
it would have.
He gets $50 million a
I know.
year.
Like if you were to,
So if he loses like 6 years into this, it's going to be more than 10 million for 30 years. It would be ridiculous with interest. Oh, I don't even
it'd
want to
be
think
so
about
much
it.
money.
It'd be so much. We don't need that. But listen, I'm happy.
Sure.
Like
What
I
wouldn't you
think
be?
I think we I think we there are things that we need to do. We still have to get some talent. I think we need to focus on pitching right now. Figure out what we're going to do with Alonzo,
Uh,
but whatever. Because though people want to make fun of us, we did make it to the NLCS.
I'm not making fun of you at
We,
all.
I'm talking about there's people out there that want to sit there and say stuff like, yeah, we took the Dodgers further than the Yankees took the
Yeah.
Dodgers.
The Mets
So
were super competitive last year. Went to the league champion, into the NLCS. Were what 2 wins away from the World Series,
to
right?
yep,
And then they go and get possibly the best five tool player in baseball to throw on your team. Definitely the best free agent of
yep,
the
the
current,
most highly coveted
yeah,
free agent out there.
the seven hundred
So
fifty million dollar man.
and that's what we got him
Yeah.
for. The Wilpons would have never done anything like that.
No.
And you get these owners who that's all I've ever said about the Steinbrenners when George was running the team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna pay for something, right? If you're gonna pay for plays, I want to see you put it back into the team. You make the money, put it back in the team, make your team
Mm-hmm.
better. Like, don't be a Tampa Bay Rays where you go to finals, you start getting all this, and you're like, okay, or the Florida Marlins, and you look at next year, you have the lowest paying roster in the
Mm-hmm.
league. Where's all that money going? You was just in the World
Mm-hmm.
Series. Reinvest that money back into your team. That's all I've ever asked for my owner to do. And he's doing it, even though he's not reinvesting because he's probably not seeing a profit
He
just
does.
yet.
They make money. They
But
make a lot of money.
he's the second fiddle in New York, right? Like he's trying to turn the parking lot of MetLife, not MetLife Field, what is Citibank Field into casino. Right, that's how he's trying to make his money. Trying to take all that real estate and turn it into. He's trying to make his money elsewhere because he paid a lot for the Mets, and they probably until they win a championship, they're probably not paying back
What he needs
just
to
yet.
do is find Jimmy Hoffa's body. Then he'd be like a
and
true
then
hero of New York.
I don't know. I don't think he wants to live. I don't think that's. I think
That
that happen.
body's long been dissolved by various chemicals. Uh,
But what if they encased it in carbonite
oh,
and he's oh, that's Jimmy right there.
Hoffa.
He could be in carbonite sometimes. We don't know.
That would be something, though. I don't know. I don't know who Jabba the Hutt would be in this scenario. But the idea of Hoffa encased in carbonite as a decoration in somebody's room and nobody said anything about it. Now that's a good conspiracy theory. I like that one. Oh, I think we gotta end on Hoffa and carbonite.
In carbonite, yes. Oh man. See, got a text
Oh
message.
no.
He sent
Recording stopped.
he sent the photo.